Kia ora everyone. It's the final trading day of the month, and this one didn't start off great. I missed some solid early setups and just couldn't seem to get into sync with the market. Eventually I took one trade on JFBR, a late entry, small win, but at least it closed the month green. Let's take a look at how the day played out. So when I first got up this morning, IVF was the leading gapper. This had made a move earlier on in after hours or pre-market, and pushed up to about 3:30 and then pulled back and was basically going sideways, pulling back. Didn't trade this at all during pre-market, saw it was below the VWAP and never really rallied towards the VWAP, so I didn't really look at it during pre-market. After the open though, I did look at it a bit, but it was a bit choppy through this area and just sort of went sideways, and I didn't trust it. When it did break eventually up here, I didn't want to take this break here. I just thought no, and it did pull back, so probably a better decision in the end. The other stock that sort of popped that I missed, I did wake up late last night, so I usually wake up around about 10:30. I turned my alarm off and went back to sleep and woke up about, I don't know, just after 11, I think, 10 past 11. So that's about 10 past 7 market time, and STSS had already made this move push up here to 787, pulled back, and I saw it as it was just sort of breaking up through VWAP here. I didn't take this trade because of my account size now, and I'm below the level for margin on the account, so I don't get margin on the account, I just have a cash account at the moment. This is a bit expensive for me, so for me to buy in on this stock here, I would only get about 50 shares, maybe a little bit more than 50 shares if I bought 100% of my account. So I didn't think it was really worth getting in on this, and it had pulled back significantly below sort of VWAP. Sort of held through that region, but I was like, nah, I'm not going to take that either. So I didn't trade this area here where it sort of pulled up after coming back down through VWAP. Possibly if it had held VWAP better, then I may have taken a trade if it confirmed coming up here. But because it pulled back so far, I just thought, no, I'm not taking that. So that was STSS, and that one just sort of went sideways for the rest of pre-market, so I didn't look at that one again either. JFBR was the next stock I sort of saw, and this one was only just over $1. So it was a pretty cheap stock really. Popped up to about 138, and I saw it pop up here to 138, pull back, and it held just below VWAP and then broke back through VWAP, and then it sort of held above VWAP, and I thought, well, if it can break over this point here around 130, if it could break and hold there, then maybe I'd look at taking a trade on it. The problem is that it took a while to break over this, well actually I was thinking if it broke over 125 actually, I thought I'd take a position on it. But it took a while for it to break, and around this time here, around 820, 825, another stock popped up, PPBT. And there it is, going the wrong way. So PPBT had popped up, and then in this area here, around 20 past 8, it had popped up to 346, and then massive big red candle and big dip down here, and I sort of watched it come up here and then sort of roll over. So I thought, no, I don't want to trade this either. That didn't look too appealing, that big red candle, and then the big dip. Possibly a good dip to buy if you got in there at 280 or something like that, but I just didn't feel like I could trust this either, so I sort of watched it for a while and then realised that I'd missed the break on JFBR because that had where are we? This way. Yeah, so that had broken here and pushed up to around 140 and was pulling back when I came back to see it. And to be honest, I didn't think it was going to go any further. I thought, oh, it's broken through there. I think that's it. I'll just leave it alone. So I didn't buy the pullback. It did push back and retest that, and a bit up and down here. It was thickly traded as well, this stock, so it's not something I'm sort of used to trading, although I'm getting a bit better at reading them. But I didn't buy the pullbacks here, and yeah. And then at 8:30 or around this time, another stock popped up, JTAI. JTAI was another pop and drop actually. Popped up to around 634, big topping tail candle as it pulled back, then a red, although the red volume wasn't that bad, and it did rally back to the VWAP, but I didn't take an entry on this either as it broke through VWAP, and probably a good call really. If I bought in at VWAP at around 520, it did go up to 540, but it was a pretty quick up and down, so I'm not sure how well I would have done on that. And then it rolled over, so that was the end of that. And while I was watching that, JFBR once again had broken to the upside and had broken through that 140 and then put a big move in to go to 186. For this price stock, that's not a bad move at all, from 134 up to 186, and then pulled back. And it was here in this pullback, I waited sort of for confirmation that it was going to go. It was sort of hitting this area here. I bought in it a little bit higher than I really wanted to. As it broke that sort of level there at 173, I bought in and got filled at 176. I ended up getting in it. So I'll bring the video up and let's play that. So it's pulling back at the moment, and this was a line I drew previously along a support line on the 5-minute chart. So I draw on that support line there off the 5-minute chart, and so it's actually coming down to that support line again and the 9 EMA. So that possibly would have been a good entry for buying in at that support, which I thought about taking. But I thought I'd kind of missed it as it was pushing up here. So I took my entry out, and it did actually pull back. Not quite, I don't think it pulled back to that level, or did it? I can't remember what that order was. But yeah, no, it sort of struggled here. There was a bit of resistance, there's a bit of a topping tail there. So there was definitely sellers competing to push the stock down. So I'll just speed this up a wee bit. As it pulls back there, puts a red candle in. And drops down to that line, and then rallies. So it is struggling to go. So I wasn't quite sure whether I should trade this or not. And then it sort of broke up through there, and so it pushed up to 180 there and pulled back. And I put my order in at 176. Got filled as it pulled back and then pushed up to retest again. I'll speed this up a bit. So it did push out. I was hoping it would push up to 186 and possibly break 186 to go to 190. It didn't do that. It sort of struggled. I put an order in at 183 because I thought, oh, it's putting in a bit of a red candle. Maybe it'll push through the red candle. But I was just watching the ask, and there were some pretty big orders being put in on the ask at 180. And I thought, I'm going to lower my sell order and just get out at 179. So I did that, and I'm out at 179. And then it did push up on this green candle here, pushed back to 183, but it's 4 cents, 3 cents. So not a major. May have got, with my share size, I probably would have got around at that price. What were you been looking at? Maybe $9, maybe $10 if I got 183. But that was my trade. I did look at trading it again, but I just didn't quite time things right, and could have got in, like, didn't really want to get in with the MACD closed, so even though that would have been okay, maybe I would have got away with that, but sort of on the back side of the move now, and coming into the open, the MACD's sort of 50-50, and that might have been an entry here off the 9 EMA, just in here, maybe on that dip as well, could have been a good entry as it sort of pushed up to 182, but not really that great. At the open, I sort of watched it, but I didn't trust that it was going to go, and it was struggling. So it did actually eventually pull back and pulled back below the VWAP. So that was pretty much it for the day. I looked at IVF, but just too choppy for me after the open. So I didn't trade that, and looked at, what was that? That was STSS. Oh no, that was JFBR again, pushing back to the VWAP, but below the VWAP I didn't really want to take any trades. So, and that pulled back again anyway. And STSS was another one that after the open actually pulled away and pushed above the VWAP and did a small sort of move. So yeah, but that was pretty much it. So that was the end of the month. The last 3 days have been very small green trades, and really probably the last 2 days definitely could have just sat on the sidelines and not traded at all. It's just, yeah, not really needing to trade, you know. There was nothing really to trade on Tuesday, on Tuesday, OMH, I didn't really need to take that trade, especially at the open. It was a bit risky. And then today, it wasn't a bad trade, sort of got in. It was a bit high, the entry, but it's the right idea. It just didn't go as far as I was wanting it to. So, yeah. So the last 3 days I've made around it would be $15, around $15 after the fees come out on the JFBR trade. I haven't seen exactly what the fees are going to be yet, but it'll probably be around definitely $2 at least in the fees, but more likely $2.10 or something like that. So be around $15 profit for the last 3 days. So the month of May has not been, month of April, sorry, has not been a good one. Probably the most positive thing is I've had more green days than red. 11 green days. Sorry, I'll clear that off. 11 green days here versus 6 red days. The only issue is that my losses, average losing has been $42.73 versus average winning $23.91. So my risk reward ratio is 0.56, which is not good, and my accuracy is only 46%, which is not great either. It's around 50%, but I prefer it to be over 60. That's generally where I like to be. If my risk reward ratio is around 2 or 3, then having a 46% accuracy wouldn't be bad. It would be okay because the risk reward would be offsetting that. But I do prefer to be on the other side of 50%, so above 50% is better. If I have a quick look at last month, March, which even though it was a red month, I was only down, after fees, I was only down 133.56, but I was actually profitable last month, gross, at $83.45. It was just my fees that put me into the red. But my accuracy was, better at 66%. It was my risk reward ratio that was letting me down at 0.48. And once again, my average losing was much bigger than my average winning trades. So that's what I really need to work on, is getting those losses under control. And taking one trade a day has been doing that, but the trades have not been very good. Profitability wise, they haven't been very good. So I've got to work on that, and that's probably the focus for May, is to keep grinding, sort of one trade a day, really reducing the risk on my account, and getting rid of these days where I'm losing over $200, over $100 in losses. Every time I had a red day this month, apart from my first red day of the month, I've been trying to dig myself out of a hole and just digging the hole deeper. So that hasn't been good, and really need to work on that. And I think by taking one trade a day will help reduce that. I just need to make that trade a bit more profitable so that my account can grow back and I can get above the margin threshold. That wraps up day 41 and the end of this month's trading. It wasn't the strongest finish, but I stayed disciplined and ended green, which is a win in my book. This week I've been thinking about what to do with my trading platform subscription. Now that my account balance is getting low, I'll be taking a closer look at whether I stick with the Xero Pro platform or switch to something else for May. So watch this space. If you've faced similar decisions with your trading tools or subscriptions, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for being a part of the journey. I'll see you tomorrow. Hei ao popo.